Hello everyone, the Overplayer back, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a quick tutorial on how to get your Magnum or any other pistol 5 streaks. I'm focusing on the Magnum specifically because I think this is by far the hardest one to do. I'm going to be giving you some helpful tips and tricks, and it's not too hard, but I think a lot of people make mistakes when coming to it, and I think it can be done a lot faster than a lot of people think. So you'll see that every time I'm spawning in, I am not pushing out of this yellow house, and that's kind of the goal here. We want to be staying in the spawn house that we're on the whole time. This is something that you really don't want to push out, because the Magnum is something that you have to do in hardcore pretty much. You can get kills with it in core, but the problem is that when you go into core, you have to hit both of your shots. And now for some players this is easy, but the thing is the delay between shots is so much. If you don't hit your second shot, you're kind of screwed. Or maybe if you don't hit your third, if the other person is bad enough. So what we do, and especially in hardcore where everything's a one shot, the 1911 is just literally objectively better than this Magnum. So you have to play very conservative. You can see I'm just watching doorways. I'm going to the same couple windows. What you can see I'm doing is that every time someone's like coming in the house, I'll watch, or I'm just watching these different angles. And I'm just kind of flipping from window to window. And every once in a while, you'll see that I flip backwards so I can notice that the spawns change. And I'll do it right now, but when I don't see my teammates around me, then I immediately go check in the back of spawn, because it's very common for spawns to flip, but you'll be left in the same house. It's not difficult to do these because you only need 5 kills, and when you're kind of remaining in the same house, it's fine. I'm going to show you guys some angles and stuff that people don't really know about to really help iron this out. You may have seen people doing this before, but it's helpful if you know exactly what you're getting an eye on. Another helpful tip: whenever someone is peeking out an opposite window, you do not challenge. You can't challenge with this weapon. It is I am here first, I will shoot first, and I will win if I am good. And so you can see downstairs that I'm seeing a lot of tags, so I'm kind of getting wary. You can't challenge with this gun because the second someone sees you, like I saw that guy, and I saw that he might not have seen me, but I'm not trying to challenge that because I know I'm on a 3 streak and I'm close to a 5 streak. So what I'm doing is you just play it safe, you just hold these angles. I see that like my teammates are dying here, and that's what I'm kind of getting worried. So anytime you see teammates die, you go and check this doorway. And now I can see, because this guy has just walked in here, spawns have flipped. So now I'm aware, like, okay, so I see this spawning back in that little fence, and there's my 5 streak, so I'm happy. But now I have my spy plane so I can see everything. And I'll be going over the class here shortly, but I wanted to give you guys some of these little helpful tips on, and you gotta do this on Nuketown. And it's going to be kind of dirty that you're just camping, but that's just the way you have to play with the Magnum. It doesn't have the range in core to do this. Unless you're like, if you're on PC, you might be able to make this work in core. But for me personally, I was not able to. So now that we've kind of seen how the gameplay is supposed to work, you can see how the streaks are going. Let's take a look at the class and then some of the actual angles that you want to be looking at, because sometimes if it goes an extended period without any kills, you'll want to be able to do that. Alright, so now that we're back in it, I can show you guys. Here's my class setup personally, or roughly. I should say I have stim shot and some text on, but those don't matter too much. So your primary doesn't really matter because you're not ever going to be using it. Your secondary is obviously going to be the Magnum, and let's go through the class setup that I have for it. I personally use the Microflex LED, but the thing is, this doesn't unlock till like level 32. So I highly recommend that you use the Quick Dot LED, otherwise the iron sights are not good on this. I also just have a lot of trouble with iron sights in general. So especially because you're going to be challenging at ranges, you're going to want at least some sort of sight. I really don't recommend this, even though it's a higher zoom. I realize it's not, oh, there it goes. This scope is really bulky and it blocks out a lot of area, and you really don't want that. So we go with the Quick Dot or the Microflex. It's up to you really, but I would say the Microflex is better. For the muzzle, I would use the SOCOM Eliminator. This will reduce your muzzle flash, which is nice because if you are in the house that they are spawning in, you don't want to be heard and you don't want them to notice you. Even if they like obviously will, even if they know you're up there, the less they can hear your shots, the better. And that vertical recoil control is really important because the Magnum has a lot of it for obvious reasons. So we want to reduce that. We don't want to use something, I think it's the highest vertical recoil control. And the downsides aren't that bad because we're not going to be moving around too much and it doesn't have too much horizontal recoil. For the barrel, I use the 6.4 reinforced heavy. This gives us extra damage range because I believe at some point, like if you're aiming far away, then what's going to happen is you are going to get hit markers on the arms and legs, and we really want to avoid that. I'm not positive about that. I don't know the damage ranges on this, but it just kind of affects against that. But more importantly, it gives us that bullet velocity. And that bullet velocity is really important. I know for a lot of people it doesn't seem like it, but this is the reason that on like some machine guns and other pistols that it feels like you won't hit shots. It's not bad hit registration, it's just that your bullet velocity is too low. So we want this like at about above 500. It's fine if you don't have that because it's hardcore, but still. For the magazine, I use the fast mag, and I don't use any of these other things because that aim down sight time is something we really don't want to mess with. We want the reload quickness because what this does is instead of loading each individual cartridge, it'll load the like all 6 of them at once, which is really good. Especially when you are in their spawn, you really need to be able to do this fast because they will be looking for you and you need to be able to take them out. For the wrap, well, your handle, I guess, I'd use the serpent. You can use the speed if you really don't want to affect that sprint to fire time. I spend so much time ADSing while doing this and just kind of in my own spawn that I really don't think it's mattering that much because I'm listening out and I'm trying to predict where they'll be and I always know. But if you really don't want to change that sprint to fire time, the speed tape is what you can go with and it won't change too much. And that's about it. I wouldn't recommend dual wield because you're not going to be in their faces whatsoever. So now that we've done that, let's go actually into the map Nuketown and see what we can see with the sight lines so that way you guys can get on these 5 kill streaks. Alright, so now that we're in, I'm going to show you guys the green. This is in the greenhouse right now. So I'm going to show you some of the sight lines here. So the first one is usually whenever I first start off, I'll come running through here or up the staircase in the back and go up top because the middle is just a really hectic space. Sometimes you'll see someone up here and you can pick them off. Other times you can, if there isn't someone up there, you can check down here. If your teammates die and they try to push through, you can pick someone off here. Also up here is I'll often, if I know someone is in that window that I can't challenge, I'll just do a little check over here because they can't see me. If I know that that window is safe or that I'm going to be the first one to see them, I'll often check over here to see because they often like to come running through here. Or if they're trying to come straight through mid, I can watch them right here or through here. If up here is a little too wary and let's say you're on a streak and they know you're up here, then what I like to do is I head downstairs and I will first check down here because people like to stand behind that truck. It can be hard to see them, but if you know exactly where they always go like right there. So you can usually get a pretty good sight line on them. But a really good spot that I didn't notice up until recently was right here. This goes like directly not into their spawn, but right next to it. So if they ever come around this side, then you can instantly just bop them. I've gotten 2 or 3 kills here before by just waiting. And you can easily pick, you remember that you only need to pick up a couple at a time and then you want to shift positions. That's something you really want to avoid is I don't want to stand here for 2 minutes picking off the same guy. Because then what he's going to do is he's going to go, oh, I'm just going to go from a different angle or get behind him. And then you'll be dead, which is no fun. So we're going to kind of be shifting our angles a lot. We're really going to be impatient. So it's we'll sit here for a little bit. We don't see someone within 10-15 seconds. We're moving on. And then we're back down here. And then we check down here. And if they're not down there, then we go, okay, they're over here. No. You don't want to move as fast as me because if there are people coming through here, then you need to watch that. But definitely be on your toes. And if you need to, check in the back here. When they spawn, they don't immediately check up here unless you're shooting them out of their spawn. So what you want to do is, like, every once in a while, if things seem too quiet or you notice a lot of your teammates rush forward, just check back here. It can help a lot. Alright, moving on to the yellow house spawn. Usually what I like to do is immediately get up here. And like I did with the green side, I'll check this window up here at the start of games. Or if I'm just spawning in, it's up to you. From here, you also have a good sight line down into this little alleyway back here. I can mark it. And then I also like to check garage. If people are being slow, then you can usually get a tiny headshot, or if they're camping in the right spot, you can actually bop them. It's really nice to just pick up that extra kill that you could need to get on that 5 streak. You can also check behind the buggy. If they're prone behind this fence, you can see them. And if they come through either of these 2 lanes, then you'll be able to notice them. You can also check this right side, but I find that they rarely come that way. If you need to check back spawn, you can do so from up here. You are pretty noticeable though, so be aware. So we're also going to, you can do this to check this right side, and then you can also do this left spot to check this left side. If they are coming through the back, you can do something like this. What I like to do is camp up on this staircase, and as soon as they flow into the room, I can just pop them, and they won't often notice me. Also, if someone's sitting right here, sniping like so, into this back part, or at least trying to, you can actually hit them from the staircase. If you need headshots, you can go for the head, or whatever. Yeah, that's about it for spots. And that's about it for the video. I realize this is pretty short, but there's not too much to be done for this. This works with any pistol, by the way. You don't need to use the Magnum, but obviously other pistols actually work at shorter ranges. The Magnum just doesn't in hardcore because it's just inferior to every other weapon. When something like this is put into hardcore, there are other weapons that have a faster fire rate, but also one shot. So there's really no need for this. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. If there's another request, like another kind of video you want me to do, like maybe you want me to do 5 streaks on something else, or you want me to do some launcher type thing, I'm certainly happy to help out with that. Just let me know in the comments down below. If you like, feel free to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. See you then. Bye-bye.